Welcome to Stepping Out from the Top Team. I'm Oliver Johnston. Today we're going to be looking at the importance of purpose, and I'm delighted that we have with us Ray Lamb. Ray, like me, has lived a long time. He's one of the most respected executive coaches in the UK and internationally. Many people know Ray as a teacher and have benefited as leaders and as emerging coaches from the wisdom that Ray has as a teacher. And I'm also delighted to say that he's a stepping out coach. So, Ray, to get started, what is the purpose? Or, sorry, what is purpose?
Thanks, Oliver. It's a great question. I think um, from the work that I've done, both for myself and in conjunction with others, purpose is important because it gives us direction and it allows us to be able to have some form of vision about where we're going and why we're doing what we're doing. I think both of those in conjunction are really important. So why do we do what we do? And what direction does that take us? And I think it's a really simple way of looking at it. And from a point of view of what we do with our lives, if we're clear on our purpose and the direction that purpose takes us, it just makes our lives easier and more fulfilling. I think that's it.
Thanks, Ray. And I'm mindful that the people listening to us today are senior leaders who are thinking and planning to step out from their senior careers. I know I have asked people on occasions, so after you step out, what is your purpose? And it for many people can be quite a tricky question. So maybe the next question is, why is it important to think about purpose?
Yeah, I think in the certainly in the context of leaders stepping out from an organization with which they've had uh, a long period of involvement, perhaps, or certainly deep involvement. The purpose has been defined for them by the organization. So, corporate goals, corporate values, and beliefs. And to some extent, or to a great extent, depending on the work that has been done there and the position that's been held, we get narrowed down in terms of our purpose and the work that we do and the outcomes that we need to achieve. And so when released from all that,
Yeah.
there seems to be a lot of choice. If we give that some thought, several conversations I've had recently with execs who've, for whatever reason, stepped out or have been encouraged to step out by others, they suddenly wake up and say, I now have choice about what I do, which is a bit of a shock. And so spending time working through that choice and understanding what those choices mean for me in that position is really, really important to the way that my life's going to unfold in the future. For example, it could be that I decide that my purpose is to follow a path of work that I've yearned to do for many years but been unable to do. It may be that I want to integrate more activity with my family, both close family or extended family or friends, or I want to take up some recreational activity that I'd never had the opportunity to take up. So, and those things joined up have a combined purpose, which gives me joy in my life. So it's important because we're planning to have a fulfilling life. We're planning to have something which is tangible with considered outcomes, which are positive, and and which I've never really had the opportunity to indulge myself in before, because I've always been subsumed by the purpose of the organization or the corporation. I think that's the big switch from being asked to create outcomes on behalf of somebody else, and now being having the choice to create outcomes and purpose on behalf of me.
Yeah. Thanks, Ray. And I love that idea of linking purpose to joy. I think that's an important thing to remember and to think about. Um, Again, for people who are in senior positions and thinking and planning to step out, um, if they're going, yeah, I know I should answer that question, but I don't know how to answer that question. Have you any hints or tips in terms of how people might start to understand or explore their purpose?
Yeah, and I think that's important to, to spend time doing it, and to use it as a piece of work, if you will. And maybe we link that back to what really does give me joy in my life. What have I longed for or yearned to do that perhaps I haven't had the opportunity to do? So uh, beginning to create lists or record things in a way that works for individuals. It could be, writing a journal or a diary, creating a mind map, something online, uh, recording your voice or thoughts as you go through your days. Any medium goes. I think that doesn't matter, but it's getting it out there, having your thoughts laid bare, if you will, in terms of what's going to give you joy as you go forward. You do have choice, as we've already said. So how do you turn that choice into some desirable outcomes? And I think, apart from speaking to your coach and to friends and to family, there's this internal thing around, so what is it that I'm good at, that I long for, that I'm yearn for, that I haven't had the opportunity to do before, and list them out. And once you've listed them out, you can begin to prioritize them. You can do that yourself or with your coach or with your family, get other people's ideas as well. But exploring options, I think, is really, really important. And doing that in a very planful way might sound a little, tasky, a little boring in a way, but I think time invested in creating those lists or resources about what you really, really want in your life is important to finally being able to put together the cogent plan of what's going to be important in your life and how you're going to make that happen, and make your desires manifest, and to give you joy as an outcome.
Ray, thank you very much for that introduction to the whole area of purpose. And I know in 10 minutes we can only open it up and encourage people to think more. I also know that you're happy to engage with people if they would like to contact you, and they can do so through the Stepping Out website, which we'll put up on the screen in a moment. So it only remains for me, Ray, to say thank you very much, and I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Thanks, Oliver.